important. It's important. Are you ready to get bloodied? Over to your left, you will see a body that appears counterfeit. Important. This is important. Get your hands up. Get your hands up. This is the concert for the boys and girls of the world. Hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw. When I was playing Nintendo, everyone watching everything I do, then you come in the room and fill it with doo-doo. I'm the girl. Ain't worth a dime or a nickel. Did it and I did it better. I'm an iPhone lover, but you gotta match it with an iPhone cover. You've got to do better. Let me give you some wisdom. I'ma take show respect, cause I got a kingdom. Like getting kingdom now, and that's a taste. He's just so amazing. So amazing. Do but girl, you just do but. One time. Cause you're a doo-doo bra. Here we go. One time. Woo! I'm a child of God. Alhamdulillah. Cause she's a doo-doo bra. One time. Woo! Cause she's a doo-doo bra. Hey, so we rise. No surprise. Doo-doo stain. So it's skin glowing, hair flowing. Danny without the coins. He's on the bus so he don't get no points. These girls can't take. These girls can't take. You get it. Just get it. So get it. You can't sit with us. Because you didn't understand Plato. But now she is classic. Stomping the pavement. What? Stop. Front to back. I make you bitches look plain. If you address me, bitch, you best have a brain. Get being haunted house, bitch, you serving Ukraine. So you prepare your statement, bitch, you the dummy. Don't go, you may as well stay now. Public play, she fine. Correction, baby. I'm fine. She thinks she that. Correction, baby, I know I'm bad. Kit kat, get back, get back. Knick-knack, paddywhack, give it like a bone, said plan, attack. Razzle-dazzle. Okay, let's begin. My name is Grace Aditore. I'm a fan or ex-fan and watcher or ex-watcher of Qaadir Howard. I'm an independent musician who was inspired by Q, but I'm kind of making a departure now from his content. To my people that normally watch my content, this is a bit different. Feel free to stay. You'll probably like this. This is about a YouTuber. This is about a YouTuber that I really liked, but yeah. I mean, just stick around. Definitely, all of you will love this. This is gonna be fun. The reason that I'm making this video, I have my notes right here. I'm making this video because I want to like show the long-term perspective of like how his long-term supporters are feeling in video form, because I don't think anyone from this side, the side that's growing kind of tired, have expressed our feelings in video form. We've written a lot and people have reached out to Q directly, but I don't know if anyone's actually said anything constructive like in video. Most of the people that have done videos are kind of, they're following a victim narrative. They're kind of up his arse a bit, and I wanted to express the counter narrative through video form. This is not a list of things for Qaadir to change, because I just feel like there's no point with that at this point. I may make suggestions based on things that Qaadir has said he wants, but this is mainly for myself to like get some closure, and yeah, to just get everything out so that I can like kind of break away from this shit. I may switch from like second to third person. I'm not assuming that Qaadir is going to watch this, although in parts of this I may be acting like I am speaking to him, because I think that'll help me get my message out. But so I'll be flipping from like second to third person, just to let you know that may happen, just a disclaimer. So yeah, I want to be constructive and fair in this video, because this is someone I admire. This is not to be malicious in any way. It's mainly, like I say, for closure for myself. So first I want to start off by detailing my journey with Q's content and how I found out about him. So like the legend himself, I'm going to do it in a sort of story time fashion. I initially found out about Q in 2016. So I just want to say that to say I don't have the whole picture. I wasn't there for LA and things that happened before then. I know about it, but I wasn't there to know firsthand what that was like. But I was here when he would like go on and on about Hillary and rant about Hillary and Trump and in those like that 2016 US election. I was there for that. So I think I've been here a while. I'll count myself as a long-term watcher, because I didn't just come on this like this year. I actually found out about him when this other YouTuber recommended the Walmart terrorist video. I can't remember the name of this YouTuber, because I used to watch them back then but not so much today. But I know they're like a K-pop YouTuber, and anyway, they kind of put a clip of the end bit where he's talking about Eminem and 8 Mile, the kind of inspirational bit at the end, as like an Instagram video. They were like, oh, Qaadir inspires me so much, da 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 da, on the Instagram page. So I was like, this guy looks cool, and I went to check out his stuff. So yeah, I watched that Walmart terrorist video, and I'd never seen something so funny. I found it hilarious. I was cracking up from start to finish. I was so like just like enamored with this character, and I ended up like binging so much of his content. I just was in love with Qaadir at this point, like his old content, his newer content. Some of my favorites were Did I Just Get Fired from McDonald's, Chainsaw Massacre, Drunk Disney Recap, Stop Stop Hollering in My Damn Ear Bitch. And I say that to say I enjoyed the older content and the newer at the time content. But I noticed a lot of his older videos had more views. They were more in the millions, hundreds of thousands, compared to his newer content, which wasn't performing like that. So I just considered that, oh, he must have been like a viral sensation back in the day, and now he was catering to a more niche audience that I wanted to be a part of. I also found The Lesser Girls and some of his other songs like Stomp the Pavement, Bloodied and a Mess. I did actually like those songs, but I didn't think he was taking music all the way seriously. Like I didn't take his music all the way seriously, especially because the way because the lyrics and the way the Lesser Girls music video looked, I just thought, oh, this has to be a joke, this has to be a spoof. Then I found out about his albums. Those singles led me to albums, and this is kind of where the issue begins for me, because these albums were not great. He had 3 at that time. They were underwhelming. So I realized that Qaadir is someone who can like give us an okay single, but album wise he's underwhelming. The albums had bad production, he was taking other people's instrumentals, the lyrics were just generally lacking. But I didn't think it was a big problem, because I didn't think the music was what he wanted to do. So I just dismissed it as a side project, so it didn't matter. I also found the brand Dork and the ASMR channel. I found out that he tried to move to LA unsuccessfully long term, and just through watching his stories I've seen that he'd had several jobs that he couldn't stay in long term. He also had a series called Tiny Toy Kingdom, which kind of just fell off after a while. So I noticed a problem. He had a sort of motivation, a carrying through problem, trouble carrying things to fruition. He has lots of ambition, but no real long-term investment. Again, I dismissed it and thought it wasn't a problem because at the end of the day, he had been able to commit to a YouTube channel for 10 years. So I thought, okay, he can commit to an extent, and there's no way it's going to get worse, right? It can only get better. I was wrong. Let's go to like the more 2017, 2018 era. This is what I call the cracks widening. So I actually considered becoming a Patreon around 2017 just to support him, to get that extra content. He was someone who I liked, thought was entertaining and admired. I was this close. And then Is You Crew dropped their video exposing everything, detailing their Patreon experience. They said the content was half-assed, inconsistent, and that he was rude and shady and got angry at them for forming a group and asking for specific content, which I found just like very unprofessional. It kind of turned me off becoming a Patreon. He dissed them. He made a whole diss track. We've all heard Dead to Me, Slade and Rival. And as much as that song kind of hits, I thought it was kind of distasteful, as at the end of the day they were paying supporters. They weren't like haters. So I thought it was unfair that you make a whole song to diss them. So yeah, with the release of Slade on Arrival and Mother Pat, it made it apparent that you were focusing on music more than anything. And I also think your videos started to become a bit more sparse around that time. We were getting some show reviews and some lives, but it became apparent that you were really investing in your music. The lives were not bad though, they were still good energy. I remember one particular live around that time that I found hilarious, where you were like ranking female singers' voices according to like food, like meat. Like you were saying, oh, this artist is like a chicken voice, this artist is like a hog voice, this artist is like a beef. Like we would have fun in these lives. So it wasn't a massive problem. I also remember around this time, 2017-18, you came out as a weed smoker. I was a bit iffy about it because it was like just the way it was a secret, and then it came out and then the bong was there in every video, or a spliff or something or another. You also came out about having a record label, another thing that I was iffy about. At the time you came out to like us public non-Patreons, this was like 2018, and you said you'd already been there for like a year, but you had nothing to show for working with them for a year. So I was very iffy. I also want to note 2018 was the last time you posted on Brand Dork. We move on now to 2019, which is when the foundation gives way. A lot happened in 2019. First of all, his mum died, and I want to say, Qaadir, if you're watching, I'm very sorry, and I know that your mum meant a lot to you, and it's not easy losing a parent, so I just want to put that out there. However, I do want to say it was kind of weird that you said you wanted to die before your mum. Like, did you really think that was going to happen? Like, that, it doesn't usually happen like that. I feel like it was deeper than losing a parent. I think you relied on her for a sense of self. Like, in a way you were overly reliant, in my opinion. I think you had a single parent mum. I also was raised by a single parent mum, and I think with single parents there's this thing where like there's this idea that the parent has to be the mother and the father. I don't actually think that's true. I think what single parents tend to do, instead of being both, you know, I'm just assuming because I didn't grow up in a two-parent household, but there's usually like a nicer parent and like a mean, like strict parent, and they may switch roles, but usually one parent's more nice and one's more like strict and one's more lenient. I think what single parents tend to do is just choose one and stick with it. So whereas my mom chose to be very strict, very like not very loving or affectionate, I think your mom did the opposite and decided to like be very loving, very kind, very lenient, very like supportive of whatever you wanted to do regardless of consequences. And I don't know if that like really helps you. Like, I think back to the video you made with her in 2013 where you were mad that people weren't retweeting. I think your mom had your back completely, instead of letting you like encouraging you to see other perspectives, that maybe it's not right to force people to like retweet or to feel entitled to it. There was a thing where she was like, I don't want to say over coddling, but like I think you depended on her overly for your sense of self. So what also happened in 2019 is that the record label fell through. I was not surprised. I had a bad feeling about that from the start. There was like never anything to show for it. your videos were still the same quality. All that we really got was like a remix of a good song, and it's a good remix, don't get me wrong, but I could just like, I had a bad feeling and I was not surprised when that happened. So yeah, with the passing of your mum, she left you her house. And I had a bad feeling about this too. You know, you worked so hard to get out of your mum's house and get your own space, and you finally were able to do that and get your own space, and it was like she just pulled you back. I didn't like the optics of that, like seeing you initially in her house, you move out, and then to move back, it kind of felt regressive, like a step back. Also during this time, I heard something about flying in a 19-year-old first class to be a maid / beauty call of some sort. I don't know too much about that, so I won't say too much about that, but that just goes to like show all of that you were not in a great place. Again, not a lot of content, you know, some reviews here, some reviews there, mainly lives. And I remember during this time you would cry a lot in lives, like almost every live you would break down about your mom. The energy was getting a bit like, it was getting hard like to bear. You were in a hard place, but I stuck with you, and I think a lot of people stuck with you just because we like you, and everyone goes through hardship. It's just, it makes you human. I remember that even though we weren't like getting a ton of story times or anything, you did release 2 episodes of Mean One, Nice One. That's what, no, it was called Your Conscience, Mean One, Nice One. And I loved that series so much. It was so entertaining, and I'm so sad that you didn't continue with it. But yeah, so you were still kind of trying to make some original content is what I wanted to say. And you also released the full A Love Rhapsody, which was like a long song with lots of like little mini songs in it. I thought that it would have been a whole EP, not like one compiled rhapsody, since you had not released a full project at this time since 2011, and music was clearly your main focus. It felt like, I wouldn't say cheated, but it felt like you should have fleshed those into full songs. It felt like you didn't go all the way. Yeah. So that was 2019. It was a weird year. A lot happened. Now we go to 2020, which I call the complete breakdown, part 1. You released Mother Queen. That was pretty predictable. You know, I feel like if you've seen one of Qaadir's music videos, you've seen them all. You know, it's a stolen beat with you either around your house or around your neighborhood with all these glitchy effects. It's kind of like, yeah, we've seen it before. It wasn't anything to write home about. At this point, you're mainly giving us live streams with the odd review, gameplay, commentary. But you're like beating down the same topics, the Iyanla, Cat Williams, just the same topics. It doesn't feel fresh, it doesn't feel fun. It feels stale at this point. And you're still kind of breaking down, crying about your mom in almost every live, which I sympathize with. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So COVID happens and you're focusing more on music. Now we get to the My Afton shows. I need some water. Okay, I'm back. So the first show got cancelled because of COVID, and you did like a home performance to which some people were critiquing, and you got angry. You did another live stream right after getting angry at them for constructively criticizing you. It wasn't a great look. Second show, you only sold 11 tickets, and you went on a live, like you went on, a rant in a live. You seemed very stressed, and then you got your remaining tickets. You did the show, it was alright. Now, you did 2 lives, which were, at the time, I found it very worrying. At this point, now I don't know if all of those things you did and still do were a performance or if they were real. I'm just being honest. So you did 2 lives in 2020 that were bothersome. One was called I Need Help, and another one was called Hello. And it was very apparent that you were in a bad place. You hinted at being suicidal, about needing help, talking about wanting to give up and needing protection, and not being okay. You were also annoyed at your sister, who was your manager at the time, for like just giving you more stuff to do instead of helping you out. People were giving you suggestions, they were giving you super chats and cash apps, and yeah, we generally took it as a cry for help and told you to like take a break if that's what you needed to do. Even though you have been through quite a bit, I just don't look at you as a complete victim, because I think you have so much to be thankful about. So I can't sit here and just be like, oh, woe is Qaadir, poor Qaadir, because I think you're a grown man who has a part to play, can take accountability, and you're actually in a very fortunate position, I think. So let's talk about the second actual My Afton show that you performed at. You went live for this show asking people to give you tickets. You got your tickets. And I'm barely tuning in at this point because I just don't like the victim narrative. But I checked out the show. And I guess what happened was that you were told to leave before your set was over. And then you ended up staying on stage to ask to finish your set and then eventually storming out. I don't think you were wrong for staying on stage and insisting that you finish your set. There's nothing wrong with that. You've been given this much time. You sold your tickets. It's unfair that a band before you was late means that you didn't get to finish your set. The only thing that I wish is that before you'd stormed off that you said thank you to the audience. Just a little thank you so much, you've been great. My name's Qaadir, Howard, have a great night. Then you can storm the night, slam the mic, storm off, throw a middle finger to the DJ. I don't mind, but the audience in front of you did nothing wrong. They were a good enough audience. Maybe they didn't stick up for you the way you'd liked, but ultimately they're the people that you're there for. It would have been nice if you could have just said thank you, have a good night. But to me it just gives the vibe that you don't care about your audience, which is actually telling. I think that's the thing. I wonder if you do care about your audience in general. So, I mean, even though what happened to you was a slight, it was shady. I think the fact that you looked at it from the most pessimistic angle, where you were the ultimate victim instead of it possibly being a misunderstanding, was just so irritating to me, and I was starting to get put off to you from all of that. So now we get to 2021, the year that we're in now, and I call this complete breakdown part 2, mask slip. The mask slip, baby. So 2020 was the complete breakdown part 1. I thought that 2020 was rock bottom and that we could only go up from here. I was wrong. I thought it couldn't get worse, but I was bloody wrong. 2021 was just as bad and maybe worse because the mask slipped. So it's we can't even pretend anymore. You know, even your most loyal people at this point are jumping ship, and it's the year that I unsubbed, which is where we're at now. So the year started with you unlisting all of your content. Woo! I guess this was a bid to get more Patreons. This highlights that you had a money struggle at the time. I guess you'd lost Patreons, losing subscribers, etc. And you thought the best thing you could do was to private all your content, and that would get you more Patreons. I also personally think that this was your payback for a feeling of being unappreciated for your content over the years. I think you have shame around your diminishing view count from your old videos relative to your new, so you're privating your old ones so no one can see that your views have fallen. But to your viewers and stuff, it came across as petty and desperate, and I don't think it was the wisest or well thought out move. The content that we're getting around 2021 is the odd show review, the odd gameplays. I don't love gameplays, but there is a faction of your audience who do like them, so that's fine. And we're getting these long ranting live streams, and they're just so boring at this point. There was, however, word of a new album, and I was somewhat excited because I didn't think you'd let it be a full 10 years before you release another album. But hey, I was excited that we were getting a new full project after all this time. But for me, I was looking at it like this. If it's going to be 10 years between albums, I need an improvement on 2 things. One, the sound production, just the quality of the mixing and the vocals. And 2, I needed some original instrumentals. Needless to say, I was disappointed. The album was not on streaming platforms, had other people's instrumentals, so it was basically a mixtape. Just 2 out of 3 of your other albums, they're just mixtapes because you're not using all original instrumentals. This is the thing you say you're passionate about, the music, but it's still somewhat half-assed. So that was disappointing for me. Now we're gonna get into some tea. On February the 21st, a few days after you'd released your album to Spotify and YouTube, you went live entitled "YouTube is Trying to Destroy Me." In this live, you asked supporters for protection against a channel that was supposedly stalking and raping you by re-uploading old unlisted content. This channel was Classics, of course. You said you filed a complaint against this channel and that they were getting away with murder. Apparently YouTube came back to Qaadir for a report, but they didn't do much else, and he was angry about that. Now Qaadir, I actually think you have the right to be angry about this if you want, because yeah, I actually can understand someone taking your content and you not being happy with it, but accusing them of M and R are just like wrong and too much. Also, the content isn't copyrighted clearly, so I just don't think you had a case. I don't think YouTube was specifically after Qaadir. He just didn't have a real case because this stuff isn't copyrighted. But once again, it highlights this victim complex where he makes out like he's specifically targeted by everyone. YouTube is targeting him. The classics page is targeting him. Everyone. Like, it's so tiring. Like, he claims to be shadow banned, and a lot of people are shadow banned, so maybe you have a point there, but he presents it in this way where it's like, oh, his case is unique because he's the chosen one, so his shadow banning is different from everyone else's, and he's just this special victim, which makes it hard to empathize with him. In this life, he seems to break down. He's clutching his chest, he's erratic, there's talk of cursing and hexing people, talking about prophet ladies, and he just seems a mess. Whether you watch the whole thing or the 4-minute version, he looks a mess, objectively. Anyway, these antics cause his supporters to send in $1,000+, which seems to raise his spirits. The very next day, Qaadir goes live again in a live entitled "These Girls Want Me Dead" with his Cash App Qaadir FC. It's a 4.5-hour rant about how the police were called on him at 2 a.m. after a phone call with a so-called Queen of Chicago. Now, I understand the danger of calling the police on a black man at his house without him knowing. I do think that wasn't the best thought out. It wasn't the most well thought out, wisest thing, but it may have come from a good place. They may have had good intentions, seeing as you were hinting on being suicidal, and people could have just genuinely been worried about you. Instead of looking at it from all aspects, he again took the victim, I'm a child of God, that's why they're after me route, and it was just annoying again, instead of looking at all the possibilities. Because someone could have been genuinely worried. It could have been your neighbours. It probably was the Queen of Chicago. I start to notice this disempowering pattern of you playing the victim, exalting yourself to be this chosen child of God, and then asking for money. And I'm just not happy to see it. Like I say, it could have been your neighbours hearing you loud on the phone and being worried. Could have been the Queen of Chicago, probably was, because the police said that it was someone that you were on the phone with prior. But instead of that, you blamed classics and the Lipstick Alley forum chat thing for being dirt queens, because that adds to your victimhood narrative. So you also spoke about classics compilation that he made, the 4 minutes. I say he, could be she, they. The 4-minute compilation they made of your breakdown, if we'll call it. I think it was performative. You call them a stalker and you threaten to sue YouTube if they don't take the channel down. Now that content definitely counts as fair use, but whatever. I went to classics because you'd spoken about them so much, and at first I actually did not want to like classics. I wanted to hate them and see them as these seedy evil people who are out to get Qaadir. But I watched the edit and I actually found it funny. So I took a liking to the classics channel. As far as I'm concerned, if classics isn't monetizing your old content, I don't really think there's a problem. I don't really care. You know, re-uploading old and unlisted content is not comparable to stalking and R-ing. It definitely isn't. And classics puts effort into thumbnails and playlist names. They're definitely some sort of fan, stan-a-me, ex-fan. They're definitely a supporter. They're not someone who wants you dead. Moreover, classics actually helped me stay on the Q train longer than I would have otherwise. So I think you could actually say thank you to classics. Not that I'm gonna hold my breath for that. So let's go back to the music, which is a big part of why I eventually unsubbed. So the Prince of Tides music video comes out on the 6th of June and it's very underwhelming. It felt very unplanned, last minute shots. I have this in my wardrobe. Oh, let's just go out to the garden. Didn't feel very thought through. The same glitch effect, same stolen beat. Yawn. You received some constructive criticism about the state of your garden and the mold on the tub, to which Qaadir responded by blocking those people, dismissing it as hate, and saying that it was because he was a child of God that they were hating on him, instead of just taking the constructive criticism and applying it in whichever way. I mean, are we surprised at this point? So then we get to the re-release of the Queen's Manifest, and the You Get It release. Now all spring and summer he was going on lives about how everything would be so great. He had all these things planned. When the PA comes, just wait a few months for the PA to come. Encouraging his supporters to keep sowing seeds for just a few months, and then we'll see all these great things. He couldn't say much about it, but there was talk of a choreographer. There was talk about filming in different locations, I think like New York, Washington DC, if I remember correctly. So I was this close to unsubbing, but I thought, let me stick around and witness greatness. I even let myself get a bit excited. I mean, for me it was the talk of filming in New York and other places that made me excited, because I was so used to him filming around his town or his house or apartment that I thought, okay, there will be something different this time. And I made myself believe that this PA was gonna like change everything. So I was still sticking around, still kind of tuning into their lives, at least here and there, you know. I went on Instagram and I saw the re-release artwork and I was actually impressed, which made me even more excited. Then I saw the teaser that he released on Instagram for You Get It. I thought to myself, like, surely he's not releasing a song called You Get It. But I still wanted to wait till the actual thing dropped. When the actual music video dropped on YouTube, as soon as I saw the intro clip of him walking through the door with that same tired old glitched title effect, and I realised that it was the WAP beat, I literally felt upset. I felt sick and upset. I was expecting Times Square, not someone's department store. So needless to say, it was underwhelming. It was underwhelming. So a battery died, so I'm just going to continue from where I left off. The album did make it to streaming sites with the unoriginal stolen instrumentals on it. So it's basically still a mixtape. It's underwhelming. I watched a live that he did shortly after where he was ranting about something or another, and at that point, that's when I just decided to unsubscribe. I was still subscribed to classics and would only watch what they posted about Q. How did we get to where we are today with this video? I saw a comment on a classics video and it was something along the lines of, have you checked out Q's latest live stream? He's gone too far. Something like that, and I decided to check it out. It was a live called Let's Be For Real, in which he was unhappy that he'd received no super chats or cash apps after going live for 5 hours. He demanded everyone with a Wi-Fi connection and a house should give him cash apps every time he comes on live.
I should be getting patrons, I should be getting seeds. Wherever it's applicable, wherever it makes sense to the person. But what I'm saying is
abysmal. There was some disagreement amongst moderators in the live chat during the live, but what really got me was the amount of disapproval and rightly so calling him out in the comment section. It was the first time seeing that en masse. It was like the mask had slipped. That's why I call 2021 the year where the mask slipped. It was like everyone saw the entitled behaviour for what it was, and I didn't feel insane being on Qaadir's page anymore. I was the only one who thought like that. Everyone could see it when saying that was unfair and out of order, and that they had lives, and that it's not fair for him to demand things one way but the other way we're not allowed to. I just felt so sane. There was maybe one person who agreed with Q. Everyone was calling him out, and it was just it just felt so cool to see that it was a shift. Everyone saw the shit show for what it was. That live eventually got taken down, but thankfully Classics uploaded it as a premiere, which Q went live at the same time as that video premiering, which was a bit petty, but it was so funny. The comments under the live stream where everyone was calling him out is what inspired me to make this video, because it made me hope. It gave me hope that you can put words out there and they'll be heard, and they can someone will hear them, even if it's not Qaadir himself. And again, for my closure, that's the main reason I'm making this. So yeah, I found that Lipstick Alley thread while researching for this video, and honestly it is not as bad as Qaadir made it out to be. It's a key on there. They'll be shady and stuff, but more people on there want Qaadir to do well than those who don't. I just feel like they kind of lost hope, I'm starting to. So there's just an apathetic vibe now, more than anything. We're making the best of a bad situation, but the people on there are not haters. So here we are now. I mean, since that video, a few things have happened. Qaadir lost 2 moderators in one video. He's going extra hard on this child of God next Jesus / Malcolm X thing.
Y'all remember when the call to where is it? Oh, when the who remembers when that clock started playing the call to prayer the other day? After that, a sub sandwich materialized on my bookshelf. The other day, a banana materialized on my desk.
And he said he's losing about 300 subs monthly. So, I mean, he's surviving, but low-key, it's a mess. He's kind of getting by when he could be great. It's really sad to see someone with so much potential just kind of be skating by. So where do we go from here? Like I said in the beginning, don't want to tell Qaadir what to do, especially about his channel and content, because there's no point. So many others have done that in written form and they've reached out to you personally with no real luck. There's really no point. I just want to put some things out into the universe that you or your people can take or leave. So yeah, first I want to talk about your music career, because you say that's what you're passionate about and what you want to do, and because it's what you say you want to invest in and be passionate about, I'm going to be more constructive and direct regarding that. The main thing about music is that it takes a coin. It's going to take some money, it's going to take a coin. Whatever you have, you need to invest it into your music. I also do music, and it takes a coin to get the music and the videos and the images and everything together the way it needs to look. There's 3 main things you need to work on regarding your music, and that is quality, originality, and consistency. We'll start with the quality. The production. Your work is badly produced, poorly mixed, poorly mastered, poorly recorded. You should go to a studio, ideally, to work with a producer, or take time to perfect that process yourself. The levels are wrong and your vocals are often clipping. Quality also refers to your lyrics. No more doo-doo butt, no more doo-doo stain, no more fill the room with doo-doo, no more side of doo-doo. None of that. Like, that is low quality lyrics. It's a good kiki, but if you want to be taken seriously, we need less of that. And also just random lyrics that don't make sense without context. Like a hee-haw, hee-hee-haw, ha, hee-hee-haw, razzle-dazzle, razzle-dazzle. Like, it sounds childish. Your lyrics also are often self-righteous whilst disparaging others. I would love to see you go deeper and explore deeper topics. You made an album that was in tribute to your mum, but most of the songs were just that self-praising, putting other people down type of record. So I didn't understand that. And also, you could do with some vocal lessons, because you don't have a bad voice, but it would be good to have a professional to help you learn how to best utilize it. So now we go to the second thing that you could do with some work, which is originality. So I'm talking original or beats made personally for you, or beats that you've bought. We can't still be using beats from top 40 artists. Even if you can get them on streaming platforms, it still devalues your music brand and makes you look like more like you didn't take it seriously, like you're more of a mixtape than an actual original music person. It devalues your music brand. I would also say originality and just like working to find that niche that makes you stand out. And performance wise, it would be good to see some originality there, because I often get the vibe that you're emulating someone else a bit too much, as well as you singing over the pre-recorded tracks. Like, there's just a lot of work that could be done performance-wise. So the third thing that could do with some work is consistency. The main reason I didn't think you were taking music seriously initially is because for the longest, like, you weren't consistent with it. It should not have been 10 years between albums. Like, even Adele doesn't do that. You've been doing music for 13 years. You don't have a lot to show for it. 4 albums that don't with a bunch of stolen instrumentals, barely any music videos. We're not counting the ones from back in the day of you dancing in your room. We need more of a consistency. Right now we have the Queen's Manifest, right? And there's a couple cute songs on it, I'll be honest. But will it be another 10 years before the next album, and will that have 40 songs to compensate for the time? Or are we going to get more music frequently, another album within the next year or 2? You know, if you had a few original releases each year with proper promotion cycles, you would definitely be taken more seriously as an artist. And if you worked on these 3 things, quality, originality, and consistency, it would definitely improve the music thing for you. So music, that's what I'd say. As a consumer who likes some of your music and also pursues music. With the YouTube thing, like I said, I'm not going to tell you what content to make or not to make, or what to do to get your YouTube popping, because it's like 1 minute you seem like you're done with it, the next minute it seems you want to keep going to prove that the haters wrong, which isn't the best motivation to have. Like, that's not the best reason to have for doing it, but whatever. I just want to express some thoughts from this side, the audience side, and the audience who are kind of getting tired side, that, you know, the ones who like maybe in the lipstick alleys and that sort of thing. I also want to try and express how I think you feel just so you can see what we're seeing from you. So the fans for the most part are dissatisfied with the lack of content and the ranty, smoke, playing music, performing lives where you're hitting the bong multiple times within a short period of time. We're tired of hearing that things are going on behind the scenes with no real clarity on what exactly to look forward to. The grandiose sense of self, the victimhood, the negative vibe, it's just boring. And this is on both sides of the Patreon and non-Patreon side. Just gonna say, the Patreons have said they're tired too. They're not loving the content either. I get the feeling that Qaadir feels unappreciated, overlooked and unprotected. He's a multiply oppressed person and he feels maligned and just generally misunderstood. I think there are a lot of people, Qaadir, who love and support you, so I don't think you're unappreciated or that there's no one in your corner. I just think that you're not always the best judge of character, just from story times which have been entertaining, but some of the way your friends have treated you have been so awful that I think you're not a great judge of character, and you choose bad friends and you choose bad people to be around you, and you dismiss people that actually want to help you. I think that's a reflection of inner healing that you need to do. You surround yourself with the best people you can. I don't know the people that you have in your life, your PA, these or whoever. I don't know if they're good or bad for you. I don't know much, but I just think generally you don't always pick the best people. I want to say that your fans and your supporters are a mirror, so they mirror back to you places where you can better yourself, and I don't think it's fair to lash out or blame them for the way things have gone.
Qaadir, just start over, just do this, just do that. I'm like, how can you in one breath? That's what kills me with black people. They're stupid, they're fake, they don't get it.
Because I do think you've received a lot of support over the years. Right now I think you're trying to receive with a closed hand, and you're demanding instead of asking. You're a creative person. I'm speaking to Qaadir directly. I don't know if he's watching or not, but you're a creative person, and I think you can definitely find a way to make this work for you and for the people that want to support and consume your content. You know the content that your fans like. The content your fans like the most are 10 to 20 minute story times with some sort of resolution at the end. They also like skits. A lot of your fans also like gameplays. Honestly, if you could meet people halfway, meet them halfway, give what they want but also put out what you want, I personally think you'd be in a better place. But I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm just saying that people are tired of sowing seeds with little to no fruit. So those are my notes. But lastly, I would want to put something out into the universe for Qaadir and all his people, anyone who's watching this, to consider. I want you to consider selling your mom's house. I'm not holding my breath that you're going to do it, but if you really want money to invest to make whatever it is you want to put off, you want to do shows, you want to invest in this, property, whatever, the willingness to sell your house would show that you are serious and you're willing to sacrifice and make an investment for your dream if this is really your dream. I also think it would be symbolic of you letting go of the past, and I think it would give you closure over your mum's death, because I don't think staying in that house is doing you any favours, and you'd have a cute $300,000 to $400,000 to really make some things happen and show all the girls wrong, prove everyone wrong. So it's just something to think about. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. This was just to give my viewpoint and a little bit of advice, but ultimately it's up to Qaadir to make himself great again. I'm checking out of this show for now. I may pop my head in every once in a while, few months, to see how it's going. Other than that, I'm peacing out. Please, everyone watching, let me know if I got anything wrong or missed anything important out. Like, subscribe, share this. Have a good day. Have a good life. Thank you all so much. And until next time, the best will always come through.
Off in the toilet trying to rinse the shit about her head. Doodoo butt.